Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real, something a lot of men will never admit out loud. Men secretly obsess over the women who never reach out first. Now don't get it twisted. This ain't about playing games. This is about value, confidence, and understanding the psychology behind how men operate. Men are naturally drawn to mystery, effort, and the chase, and this truth has been woven into male psychology long before modern relationships existed. When a man encounters a woman who carries herself with confidence, who doesn't rush, and who doesn't offer her attention freely, something inside him wakes up. It is not arrogance, nor is it a game. It is simply how men are wired. Men value what they work for. They attach meaning to things they invest energy, time, and effort into. When something comes easily, it may feel pleasant in the moment, but it rarely feels significant. But when something takes patience, intention, and pursuit, it becomes memorable. That's why mystery is so powerful. When a woman doesn't reveal everything at once, when she doesn't instantly show her availability, when she gives a man space to step into his role, she instantly becomes different from the rest. This difference captures his mind. A man's attraction is deeply connected to his instincts, and one of his strongest instincts is the need to earn. When a woman allows a man to pursue her, she gives him the gift of purpose. He feels like he's striving towards something meaningful. This sensation makes him feel strong and capable. But when a woman gives everything without requiring effort, he may appreciate her kindness, yet he won't feel moved. Men become attached to what they invest in. They remember the ones they had to work for. They value the ones who didn't fold at the first sign of interest. A woman who lets a man pursue is not being distant. She has given him the space to step fully into his masculine nature. This creates balance. It creates polarity. It makes him feel like he is actively choosing her, not just receiving her. Mystery also creates a sense of curiosity, and curiosity is one of the strongest emotional forces in attraction. When a man is curious, he thinks, he imagines, he wonders. And whenever someone occupies his thoughts, his feelings start to grow. A woman who doesn't reveal everything at once gives him the opportunity to discover her step by step. She lets him unfold the layers of her personality over time. Each interaction feels like a discovery rather than a transaction. Men crave that experience. It makes them feel alive, motivated, and intrigued. Additionally, when a woman values her own time and doesn't immediately respond to every call for attention, she communicates without words that her life is full, meaningful, and independent. Men admire women who have purpose, who are not defined by their interest in a man, but by the richness of their own identity. This type of confidence creates a gravitational pull. It makes her presence feel special because it is not easily available. She is selective, and that selectiveness makes her unforgettable. All of this blends into one powerful truth. Men don't obsess over what they claim easily. They obsess over what engages their mind, awakens their instincts, and makes them feel like they're earning something valuable. And the woman who carries mystery, effort, and the confidence to let him pursue naturally becomes that woman. When a woman doesn't reach out first, she stands out in a world where everyone is constantly seeking attention and validation. Quiet confidence becomes a rare quality that immediately separates her from the rest. Instead of chasing or proving her worth, she simply lives her life with purpose, and this alone makes a powerful statement. A woman like this communicates that her time is valuable, her emotions are not easily accessible, and she operates from a place of self-respect. Men notice this instantly. They recognize that she isn't throwing herself at anyone. She isn't desperate for affection or connection. She is choosing peace over pressure, stability over chaos, and purpose over neediness. This is something men admire on a deep level, even if they never say it out loud. When a woman values her emotional energy, she doesn't give it away freely. She doesn't text first because she's cold or uninterested, but because she knows intimacy should flow naturally, not be forced. Men sense this energy. They feel that she isn't placing her happiness on anyone else's shoulders. Instead, she's grounded within herself. This inner stability draws men in because it is rare. Many people give attention, hoping to receive love, but she gives attention only when she genuinely feels it. This authenticity makes her unforgettable. Men appreciate women who don't overextend themselves emotionally because it means that when she finally does respond or engage, it's real and intentional. Another powerful aspect is that a woman who doesn't reach out first maintains her emotional boundaries. She protects her heart, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. She's learned that love should be mutual and effort should be balanced. She waits for the man to step up, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she understands that genuine interest is shown through action, not words. Men instinctively respect this. When she doesn't rush toward him, he feels challenged in a healthy way. He knows he has to put an effort if he wants a place in her world. This effort makes him value her even more because anything earned through dedication becomes meaningful. The woman who doesn't reach out first also carries a sense of self-assuredness. She isn't glued to her phone waiting for a message, nor is she rearranging her life to fit someone else's schedule. She prioritizes her goals, her passions, and her peace. This independence is magnetic. Men admire women whose lives are full, who don't rely on anyone else to feel complete. Her independence doesn't push men away. It draws them closer because they see someone who can stand strong on her own. This kind of woman becomes unforgettable because she isn't trying to be chosen. She has already chosen her. She doesn't need external validation to feel worthy. A woman with such inner strength, emotional discipline, and self-respect instantly earns a man's admiration. He sees her as someone rare, someone he wants to pursue, someone he doesn't want to lose. Her restraint becomes powerful. Her silence becomes attractive, and her presence becomes something he craves. Men become curious when they don't have easy access to a woman's attention, and this curiosity grows stronger when she never reaches out first. Curiosity is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology, especially for men, because it activates their desire to figure things out, to understand what's going on, and to solve what feels like a mystery. When a woman doesn't initiate contact, she automatically becomes someone he can't fully predict. He can't assume she's waiting for him, he can't assume she's emotionally invested, and he definitely can't assume she'll always be available. This uncertainty makes her stand out in his mind. Instead of being one more person competing for his attention, she becomes the woman whose attention he feels he has to earn. This curiosity triggers something deeper. Men want to understand what makes her so different. They begin to wonder why she doesn't chase or why she doesn't try to get his attention like others do. Is she uninterested? Is she talking to someone else? Is she just naturally confident and independent? Every one of these questions forces him to think about her more than he expected to. And the more he thinks, the more emotionally invested he becomes, because thought is the foundation of attachment. A woman who doesn't reach out first gives him room to question, imagine, and analyze, and that mental space is where attraction grows silently. Women often underestimate how much men analyze silence. They think men only obsess over the bold, loud, or obvious signals. But the truth is, silence is louder than words when it comes from a woman who knows her worth. Her lack of initiation doesn't send a message of rejection, but rather a message of calm confidence. She's not trying to impress him. She's not trying to manipulate him. She's simply not altering her behavior to get his attention. This creates a kind of emotional tension that men find irresistible. They become curious about what she's doing, what she's thinking, and how she feels about them. They check her social media. They replay conversations. They wait for opportunities to talk to her again, because they don't feel like they can predict her. This unpredictability fuels their desire. Men love pursuing something they can't fully figure out on the first try. And the woman who doesn't initiate gives them just enough to stay interested, but not enough to feel in control. She becomes the exception in a world where attention is given too freely. Her restraint becomes a puzzle he wants to solve. Her calmness becomes a quality he admires. Her lack of chasing becomes a trait he respects. Over time, this curiosity can turn into something deeper. He begins to feel drawn to her presence, even without constant communication. He starts giving more effort, initiating more conversations, and investing more emotionally because he doesn't want to lose access to someone so intriguing. A woman who doesn't reach out first becomes unforgettable to a man because she challenges his assumptions, engages his mind, and awakens his desire to pursue. Curiosity becomes connection, and connection becomes attraction. Confidence and self-respect create an attraction so powerful that it doesn't need to be spoken, proven, or advertised. When a woman carries herself with quiet assurance, she communicates something deeper than words ever could. She shows that she understands her own worth, and this understanding makes her move differently. She doesn't rush. She doesn't cling. She doesn't try to impress anyone into wanting her. Instead, she lets her energy speak for her. This kind of confidence is magnetic because it is rooted in truth, not performance. Men feel it the moment they interact with her. They sense that she knows what she deserves, and that sense of inner peace pulls them toward her more strongly than constant communication ever could. Men are naturally drawn to women who respect themselves because self-respect creates boundaries, and boundaries create value. A woman who respects herself doesn't beg for attention, doesn't tolerate inconsistency, and doesn't rearrange her life around a man who hasn't earned that place. She moves according to her standards, not her insecurities. She knows that chasing someone is beneath her because what is meant for her will never require her to lose her dignity. This self-respect makes her unforgettable because it's rare in a world where many seek validation instead of offering value. Men admire the woman who stands firm in who she is. They know they cannot treat her casually and still expect her to stay. They understand that she has options, and more importantly, she has discipline. Confidence also creates emotional independence, and emotional independence is incredibly attractive. A woman who is emotionally independent doesn't need a man to feel complete, appreciated, or secure. She enjoys her life, has her own passions, and invests in her own growth. She isn't looking for someone to save her or validate her existence. This makes men see her as someone who can enhance their life, not drain it. A confident woman brings peace, pressure. She brings clarity, not confusion. She brings strength, not dependency. A man feels lighter around her because she isn't clinging to him for her happiness. She's choosing him because she genuinely wants him. That difference changes everything. Respect also shows through the way she responds, or sometimes chooses not to respond. She doesn't allow disrespect, inconsistency, or low effort. She doesn't chase after someone who isn't choosing her. She understands that silence is a powerful answer and that walking away is stronger than arguing for her place in someone's life. Men recognize this strength even if she never says a word about it. They become more careful with her, more thoughtful, more intentional, because they don't want to lose someone who values herself so deeply. A woman like that becomes the standard they measure others against. All these traits, confidence, independence, emotional discipline, combine to create a presence that men cannot ignore. She becomes the woman who stays in a man's mind long after the conversation ends. She becomes the woman he thinks about at night, the woman he wants to impress, the woman he doesn't want to disappoint. Her self-respect becomes the reason he respects her. Confidence becomes the reason he pursues her. And her strength becomes the reason she is remembered long after others are forgotten. A woman who doesn't chase a man isn't cold, arrogant, or hard to get. She is simply selective. And selectiveness is one of the strongest signs of self-worth. When a woman is selective, she isn't giving every man equal access to her time, her emotions, her energy. She isn't responding to every message, entertaining every compliment, or saying yes to anyone who shows interest. She moves with intention, not desperation. This selectiveness instantly makes men pay attention because it separates her from the crowd. Men can feel when a woman isn't easily impressed. They notice when she evaluates them instead of throwing herself at them. And deep down, men want to be chosen by someone who does not choose lightly. A woman who is selective becomes the kind of woman a man feels proud to win. Selectiveness doesn't mean she thinks she's better than everyone. It means she understands what aligns with her life and what doesn't. She isn't looking for temporary excitement. She wants genuine connection. She isn't searching for validation. She values substance. This mindset makes her far more attractive because it shows emotional maturity. She knows that not every man deserves a place in her heart, so she takes her time to observe, to understand, and to feel. Men sense this grounded energy. They recognize that she's not moved by superficial gestures or sweet words. If a man wants her attention, he has to show consistency, effort, and genuine intention. This expectation instantly raises the standard of interaction. Being selective also communicates that she's not afraid of being alone. That is powerful. Many people cling to relationships because they fear loneliness, but a selective woman embraces her solitude. She uses it to grow, to learn, to build her life. She is comfortable in her own company, and this comfort gives her emotional strength. Men are naturally drawn to a woman who doesn't depend on a relationship for her happiness. She becomes a breath of fresh air in a world where so many rely on others to feel complete. Her independence doesn't push men away, it makes them step up. They know they can't offer her half-hearted commitment or inconsistent effort because she'll walk away without hesitation. A selective woman also chooses quality over quantity. She doesn't entertain every man who shows interest because she knows that attention without intention is meaningless. She is looking for depth, not drama. She is looking for effort, not excuses. She is looking for someone who matches her energy, respects her boundaries, and adds value to her life. This makes men view her as someone precious, someone not easily replaced. When a man realizes he might lose her to her standards, not another man, he feels motivated to rise to the level she requires. Her selectiveness eventually becomes the reason she is so memorable. She becomes the woman a man thinks about even when others are trying to get his attention. She becomes the woman he wants to impress, the woman he doesn't want to disappoint, and the woman he hopes chooses him. Her standards become the filter that separates the real from the temporary, and men respect a woman who respects herself enough to choose carefully, wisely, and confidently. Men invest emotion in women who maintain boundaries because boundaries create clarity, respect, and emotional safety. When a woman has strong boundaries, she isn't being difficult. She is showing that she knows her value and refuses to compromise it for temporary attention. This instantly changes the way a man sees her. Instead of treating her casually, he becomes more intentional. Instead of taking her for granted, he becomes more aware of his behavior around her. A woman with boundaries naturally teaches a man how to treat her without ever raising her voice or demanding anything. Her standards speak for her. She signals through her actions that she will not accept inconsistency, disrespect, or low effort. She is not looking for perfection, but she is looking for sincerity. Men recognize this, and it pulls them in because boundaries create a structure that makes emotional connection feel meaningful rather than chaotic. A woman with boundaries becomes a mirror to a man's character. She reflects back the level of effort he puts in. If he is serious, she welcomes him. If he is careless, she pulls away. This balance makes a man feel grounded because he knows where he stands. There is no confusion about what she expects or how he should behave, and men appreciate this clarity more than they admit. In a world where mixed signals are common, a woman who sets clear expectations becomes refreshing. Her boundaries show emotional maturity, which makes a man feel safe opening up to her. He knows she won't tolerate toxicity, but he also knows she will respect him if he tries. This combination makes her someone he can build with, not just date temporarily. Boundaries also force a man to grow. When a woman doesn't bend her standards to keep him, he realizes he must rise to meet them. This inspires him to communicate better, to show more effort, and to take the connection seriously. Men value what challenges them to become better versions of themselves. A woman with boundaries does not challenge with drama, she challenges with dignity. She doesn't start arguments. She simply steps back from anything that disrupts her peace. And a man who truly wants her learns quickly that effort is the only currency she accepts. This process naturally increases his emotional investment because the more effort he gives, the more attached he becomes to the relationship. Another powerful reason men invest in boundary setting women is because boundaries create emotional stability. A woman with boundaries is not reactive. She is intentional. She doesn't respond out of fear or insecurity. She responds based on her values. This steadiness makes her trustworthy. A man feels safe sharing his thoughts, fears, and dreams because he knows she won't weaponize his vulnerability. She becomes the person he turns to for peace, not pressure. Her boundaries protect her, but they also protect the relationship. They create space for honesty, growth, and commitment. Over time, her boundaries become the very reason he cherishes her. They make her stand out from women who let their emotions lead them into situations beneath their worth. They make her the woman he doesn't want to lose because he knows what he has is rare. A woman with boundaries becomes the anchor in a man's emotional world, the person he invests in because she brings structure, respect, and meaning into his life.